Okay, so this is the first time we're doing The Night Sky.
Yeah.
With the two of us.
Yep.
It used to be a performance channel, and now we want to do more interviews and things.
Awesome.
And you're the perfect person because you're lovely.
Oh, really?
You play music, well, reasonably so.
Yeah.
You play music, you sing,
Yeah.
like, you know, really, really well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've been on a lot of my records that I've made.
Yep, I have.
And so you need to make more music so I can be on yours now.
I do. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get into writing again.
You were in a band called Sabrina and the Red Vans.
Her name's Alice Dwight. Her hair warm as her disguise. She stepped upon the stage and she danced for all who paid. Oh, her life is filled with pain. Her father never had much to say. Oh, at home she lives a life. Oh, baby.
So that was a project that I did for quite a while.
Yeah.
But I think things started to dwindle down when kids came along. Everyone in the band had kids. I remember the last gig I did with Sabrina and the Red Vans, Frankie was not backstage, it was at a festival.
Yeah.
And one of my friends had her pushing the pram out about, and I could just hear her scream, wailing, screaming while I was singing.
Wow.
And I sing quite loud.
It's sort of a bit embarrassing because Frankie was 32 at the time. So tell me about the PhD and the music psychology.
Yeah. When I don't want to say stopped doing music, but when I put music to the side for a little bit, I wanted to do something that still had music as a massive part of what I was doing. And I started off by doing a master's in applied positive psychology. So I looked at how we can enhance people's well-being and emotional health. And in that master's, we started talking about music. What is something that you can spend up to 20 hours a week engaging with? Now, this something, it understands you, sometimes better than anyone else. It's that thing that we turn to when words fail. It can lift us up when we're feeling down, and it can help us to process difficult emotions. I'm talking about music. You know that song that you play on repeat when you need to feel understood and you find yourself belting out every word as if that song was written just for you? How often do we hear someone declare, "Hey, that's my song"? Music, it can help us to feel almost any emotion we experience as humans. And so that's where the idea for my PhD came along.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the role that everyday music listening plays in cultivating self-compassion.
So if you're still there, we just spoke about some stuff we had to cut, but it was extremely funny. Even the neighbours were laughing.
Really?
Well, I assume they were. He's always looking in here.
Is he?
Yeah, always.
Bob?
Yeah. Binoculars and all. Yeah.
A true story?
True story.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw someone looking over the fence and I thought, oh, okay, no props. And then...
It's not that far.
It's just there.
Yeah,
well, that's
with
what
binoculars.
I mean. With binoculars,
That's like
you're literally...
looking in.
Yeah, he knows what I'm thinking about.
Looking into your brain.
I reckon.
Yeah, probably.
He's a nice chap.
I'm sure he is.
He just got out of prison, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, he's a good guy. God, he's been in there for 30 years or something. So, is your car locked?
I was just thinking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
The PhD thing.
Yes.
Where are you at with it now?
That's such a good question, Damon.
Oh,
such a good question. I feel like it's never ending, but in a very, very, very good way. I'm in my third year.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I'll submit mid next year.
Submit
My thesis. Yeah. So at the moment, it's now analysing my final study and writing.
Yeah.
And more writing.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of writing.
What's happened recently with the ABC?
ABC Top 5,
yes,
which is really exciting. So I got accepted selected as a top 5 in arts.
Yeah.
So I get to hang out with the ABC and learn how to communicate my research to the general public. I think it's interesting because when you mentioned before, what she's doing is really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's general knowledge, right? That music helps our emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there seems to be this disconnect when we're communicating this type of research to the general public or to policymakers like the government.
Right.
For example, they don't see the evidence, even though the evidence is clearly there in research. And I think a good example of that was last year when...
NDIS?
Yeah, NDIS was looking at limiting funding for music therapy.
How did you feel about that?
It was frustrating, really frustrating. I think the most frustrating part is that there is evidence. There is research evidence. There's so much research out there. And it's so important. You and I both know how important music therapy is. And I'm not a music therapist, but our research with music psychology and music therapy cross over quite a lot. And so it's frustrating that it's not meeting the ears of the policymakers.
Yes.
And that's why I think the research that I'm doing is important, because hopefully there's a way that we can like sniggle in there and say, hey, this thing called music that everyone loves.
I think we've identified that music affects people in so many different ways.
Yep.
Hence your PhD. But also the way I see it as a full-time creator is that the people that listen to music, the consumers, the civilians, as some of us musicians call them, they know it's important, surely, because we watch TV, there's a soundtrack.
Yep.
At the beginning of the news, there's a musical sting, I think they call it. So there's sound. There's always sound. In Coles, you'll hear something. A song might come on that you haven't heard for 12 years or whatever, and then it takes you back.
Yeah.
But music is everywhere, right? And so I sometimes wonder why musicians treated so poorly. And it's not to be negative and say it's not fair because it's hard, the industry is full of pain. I mean, all that stuff is true. But it's also true in many, many, workplaces.
Yeah.
Or whatever occupation you have. Depression and anxiety and these things aren't strictly unique to musicians or creators.
No.
But it is very difficult to be a creator and to wake up in the middle of the night and want to create something and not have any control over that and know that the next 6 months that follows of writing down the ideas,
fleshing out a musical idea, hiring people to play on the record, getting someone to mix it,
to master it, a publicist.
all these things are filled with such beauty but also hair-pulling moments.
Definitely.
Only to then upload it to something like Spotify. It's really full on.
It is full on, and I think as well, you've got all those elements that you mentioned before with getting people to be on the record and all those things, but you're also putting your heart and soul, your story in to the songs, and so that creative element, I'm guessing, that's quite huge. How do you find that?
Thankfully, I generally find that easy. I think a creative person, you can give them a piece of snot, some string, and a blade of grass, and they'll come up with something relatively cool, right?
Yeah.
Don't test me on that,
No.
because I can't stand snot.
Snot?
We package what we're doing up and we put it out there, but it doesn't necessarily meet anyone's ears.
Yeah.
That was a bird.
I know.
Yeah.
It sounded like a great bird.
It's probably that guy with the binoculars.
It probably is.
Yeah, he sets off a bird noise to distract over there.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, and then
he'll come in
gets
here into your brain
That's
again.
what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. People that come to your gigs and love your music, they are the best people. A lot of those people also don't get onto Spotify and stuff.
No.
Like they're
They
the
buy
ones
your
that
CDs.
buy CDs. And the next time they come to your gig, they often buy your CD again. Completely out of a supportive, that's what they want to do. They want to support you. I'm pretty sure that there's one particular person that comes to nearly all of my shows, and I think she must have a room full of CDs.
I'd love to see
and
this
hats.
room.
She's absolutely lovely. Comes to all the gigs,
Yep.
knows all the lyrics.
That's awesome.
So to further go back to the thing of being a creator, people that have a job in the biblical sense, they go to work 9 to 5, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I also, as a musician, and you as a musician and an incredible singer, as we spoke about, we should also want to benefit from climbing the ladder. And we don't. Like, I don't have a performance coaching session. I don't have someone come around and say, your last record was, you could have done better here, and your skills on the piano aren't really up to, it's subjective, so we don't have that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could be handy, because I think a lot of us musicians are sitting at home going, my God, I suck so bad.
Celebrating your achievements, and other people should be celebrating that too. I definitely agree with that. And yes, so friends, family, anyone out there that has muso friends, celebrate them, tell them.
Yeah, that's a cool thing to say. It really, words of affirmation are really the key. Telling people they're doing well in life is a beautiful thing. It really does. It can, most people respond to that really well.
Definitely. And I think you're right. A lot of musicians, they sit and like, does that sound okay? Like, you sit with your music, you sit with your work for so long.
Yeah.
That sometimes you need an outsider to provide that feedback.
Yes.
Yeah.